Okay, so a little context on what you see up on the board. Um, if we were to, let's see, I'll just do the simplest way, and that would be, okay, if you just saw this compound only, you know what you could presume. It's the parent compound for all steroids. We said it in class. Starts with a C. No. Yeah, it's cholesterol. So this would be the parent compound for cholesterol and a lot of steroids. And it's just the minor deviations that you see between them that differentiate steroids from each classification. So now, if we started with cholesterol, I'm going to go ahead and put this back up again. You won't be responsible for drawing them. Okay. Right. It's just the distinctions on how each and every one of them would possibly be different, because one of them is the major female sex hormone, the other one is the male sex hormone, and the other two are what we saw in the video with one of them is cortisone, and the other one is cortisol, okay? And if we remember anything from anatomy and physiology, what was cortisol? It's the stress hormone, and one of them up there is cortisol, okay? No. Without it, that would be cholesterol, okay? There's some minor differences that we would see on there, but again, we're not going to make you memorize every aspect of what cholesterol actually is.
But we're going to have to memorize all four of these.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Maybe, yeah, for Friday. I think that would probably be a better spot for it. Okay. But that's not to, but you might be asked a question, especially about this one, because once I put the names up here, it'll possibly make a little more sense, okay? Oh, it's got to look like this. Oh my gosh, that would be a nightmare. I couldn't even do that. Well, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't even know how to start doing that. But I can see why you might want to ask that question, okay? But according to what we had learned, this guy here was known as Site what? Site 11, okay? And what had to happen was a double bonded oxygen had to be placed there. So if that is the case, which it is, this must be the hormone that works on your joints, and that is what? Cortisone. So this one is cortisone. So this one right here. Okay? So then notice what is the minor difference between this cortisone and what this hormone might be. This one is cortisol. Okay? All right? Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, that's correct. Yes, I think the more time that you spend on this, especially when we get to the amino acids, okay? Once we get to that point, I was going through here and I found the flashcards that I had made for myself. And of course, now that I want to find them, there's probably not a chance. No, I'm not seeing them. But that's one of the aspects that you'd want to do. To me, the more that you draw them out, the more you're going to remember how to actually do that. But this, of course, will all be provided for you. But this, there might be questions about this on there because that had pertained to the video. This is extra, and this is extra. But this was part of that video. And how does that double bond oxygen get on site 11? Because one of the professors said you can add reagents, you can add high heat, you can try to oxidize things. But what's going to happen is you're going to start breaking bonds possibly here, anywhere amongst these areas. But there's some sort of substance that does that naturally, and that was what? It was actually a mold synthesizes that and causes this reaction to take place to put double bond oxygen right there. Now, the human body does do that, but that's when it's needed. Because one of the things we had talked about when it comes to steroids, can you consciously, I wouldn't say inject, but cause steroids to float through your blood consciously? No. Okay? So that has to go through what part of the nervous system? The somatic or autonomic? Okay? That was the right analogy. Your transmission is an automatic one, so things shift gears automatically. So the autonomic nervous system then is what we'd say you don't have to think about it. It just does it upon when needed. So you can't just consciously say, okay, I've got this problem with arthritis. I need some more of this cortisone. And you probably can't produce enough of that anyway. But what would happen is if you we had mentioned a grandparent, maybe go and get a shot of cortisone, and that's probably going to be 50 times the concentration and amount that your body actually produces. Okay? So then this is cortisone, cortisol, just a very minute difference. Okay? Then the last two, you got a 50, there's really no rhyme or reason you would know that, but and just this is kind of what makes the difference between men and women, and it's just a very subtle difference, just like what we would see here. So, what is the top one? Top one is estrogen. I thought maybe you think, he wouldn't put the top one on there. But yes, that is estrogen. Okay? Okay. And then I'm just double checking. Yep, that's right. And then what was the pregnancy hormone that Dr. Jillian had synthesized, was able to synthesize in large amounts? And just think about that. I don't, perhaps some of you know women or potential mothers that had tried to go through the process and for some reason have a miscarriage. There's probably lots of reasons that can happen beyond what progesterone is, but that was probably one of the leading aspects years and years ago. Okay.
What are the side effects of cortisone?
Of this here?
Like getting an injection? Could it damage like muscle or something, or?
The only thing that would possibly make sense to me is could it cause muscle tissue to rip away from bone? Maybe, but I think that's a stretch too.
But really not. It's kind of a
Right. And I don't know why it does this. It just does. And one of the mysteries that I'm not going to try to explain something that is way above and beyond my comprehension on trying to explain what these steroids are and do. Okay.
Above your comprehension? That must be pretty Did Mr. Johnson let you guys know yesterday that the locker rooms will be locked during the day?
Okay. Questions on that, and maybe you don't even know what to ask. Okay? But know what cholesterol is, and then especially know what this one is because this was attached to that video. So this closest relation, especially in name, okay, is just different. The basic difference is right there on site 11. And then here's the major difference between women and men. Okay? All right. So, can I erase that? All right. Okay. So, this paper, does everyone have each and every, let's say, question answered or anything to that effect?
Never mind.
Okay? Because if there's one you'd like to discuss,
One, it was like about the, on the backside, about the natural liquor, is that just the mold?
yes, that is the mold. Yep.
Because I think I put like the gland in your body that does it,
Okay.
maybe?
Well, and that's true, but in the context to make it in a upscaled, upsized scale, it'd have to be done with that process. Okay, and then let's see here. Okay, so moving forward then. All right. Okay, and I already knew what that was. I just had typed something similar in that to Google, spit it out right away. Okay, I don't even think I had to click on anything. It already knew. So what it was referring to: the University of Texas and the University of Oklahoma, mainly football, but I suppose you could say basketball. These two universities duke it out because I'm guessing they're connected by this water source. You already know what it is, don't you? Okay. That's some real money there, right? You could sell that, but everyone else can just do that as well. Look it up for themselves. You can think for yourselves. Okay? Now we probably better have a science one. Yay. We're putting a twist on this to make it a science one. Okay? You don't say University of Duke, do you? You always say Duke University, right? So Duke University, and well, I was going to try to do Carolina, but there's two of them. There's North and South. Duh. Oh, why didn't I just do that? That makes more sense. Yeah, UNC. All right. Okay. It is a road that connects these two universities. And the answer to this is an alkaloid. Alkaloids are substances like, okay, caffeine is an alkaloid. Okay. There's other types of alkaloids that were mentioned. But this rivalry between these two schools is something road. You probably know this one too. And do your best. What do you think? How many miles approximately separate these two universities? It's less than 10. I want to say it's like 7 miles that separate these two. Huh. All right. So, part 1 tomorrow, part 2 on Friday. Then we will get on to the biochemistry next week. That's even starts. All right, we'll catch up to you next time. Oh, I forgot this. Yeah. Now we'll catch up to you next time.